Today is September 12th, which is the third decan, the first day of the third decan of Virgo. And so that means that Libra will begin on the 22nd of September. So that'll be Libra season. Right now we're in Virgo season. And I thought I would just talk about the actual astrology a little bit. There's only one really significant event during this 10-day period, which is that it's coming up soon though. Around this Thursday, first of all, there's a new moon, and then also Mercury, which has been retrograde for a while, will station direct, and right before that there will be a moon Mercury conjunction. But let me just step back for 1 second and talk about what a decan is, for those who don't know. The zodiacal year is divided into 12 signs, and then each of those 12 signs is itself divided into three parts, 3 decans. And so the first decan is the beginning of the sign, the second decan is the middle of the sign, and the third decan is the end of the sign. And there are sort of technical terms for each of those. There's the cardinal decan is the first one. The middle decan is the fixed is the middle decan, and mutable is the third decan. And signs have this too. So every 3 the seasons are divided into 3 signs. So Virgo is a mutable sign, and Leo was fixed, that was before us, and Cancer is cardinal, which was before Leo, and Cancer was when summer began, which is also on Pentecost in the Christian calendar. So we are at the end of summer, and fall will begin in Libra. And so Virgo, part of the meaning of Virgo generally is just that things are changing. That's what mutable means, that things are, one kind of region is coming to a close, making way for the beginning of another one, and so we are in the mutable phase of the mutable sign of summer. And another meaning of Virgo is that it is an earth sign, and as opposed to Pisces, which is opposite of Virgo in the zodiac, which is the water, immutable water sign. And the meaning that is generally given to Virgo is that it is like it's someone who is solving problems, basically. Like a Virgo will sort of like get a lot of detail, and not really be too combative, but also not really go with the flow, like really kind of figuring out how to fix things is the Virgo. Though in a more pagan context, it's also kind of like the priestess again, like Pisces, the opposite is more like Christ, where there's a kind of just general forgiveness or something. The priestess is more sort of like an oracle or something like that. Yeah, so we're doing a new moon in Virgo, and the new moon is, generally a new moon is considered to be a time when a new cycle is starting. New moon means that, like just astronomically, that the moon and the sun are both in Virgo. So like Earth is here, the sun is here, and the moon is here. So when it's daytime, the sun is not casting any light on the moon. It is casting it, but the dark side of the moon is facing the Earth. And then at nighttime, even if the sun were somehow casting light on the moon, we wouldn't see it anyway. Like, the moon is actually underground. The moon is not in the sky at nighttime, because the Earth, we're looking this way, and the moon is over here. I think people don't always realize that. I think you imagine maybe that the moon is up in the sky, but that the sun isn't casting light on it. But yeah, the moon is underground, and I like at night. And I kind of like thinking about that, because it's like, when the moon is underground, it's like there's something new emerging that, might not really be part of the plan. Underground is the depth of the unconscious, and that's the thing about a new cycle, is that it tends to not really have necessarily so much to do with what you have in mind about how the future is going to go. That's kind of one of the mysteries of life, that you don't necessarily, you're projecting the future, you're imagining what it will be like, and what happens tends to not have that much to do with any of the possibilities in the range that you were predicting or projecting. So yeah, I think that this new moon is kind of an opportunity to think about that there might be some sort of brand new phase that isn't really one of the options listed, but it is in Virgo, and so I think it's worth expecting that, or just worth kind of having the intention that it be involved with fixing things somehow. And that goes pretty nicely with the Mercury stationing direct. Mercury retrograde is most commonly associated with things going wrong, or your computer not working, or communication problems, which is part of what it is, but it's also partly just it's always a time where you're finding out what the consequences are of what you've done. There's a sort of so when Mercury is going retrograde, as that means that, so as the sun is going around the Earth and Mercury is going around the sun, that when Mercury is direct, it's it's on the outside of the sun, and so it is going in the same direction as Earth. And then when it's retrograde, it's it's still actually circling the same direction around the sun as the Earth is, of course, but it's going backwards from our perspective because it's in front of the sun, basically. And sorry, I lost my track of thought. Oh yeah, so you know, like probably there have been some insights actually during this past Mercury retrograde, and now it's sort of an opportunity for Mercury to be direct, and maybe that involves clear communication. It is an auspicious time for a more auspicious time for communicating, and Mercury is in its home sign in Virgo. So Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. I think maybe it's exalted in Virgo also. So that's a really positive. It's a really positive thing. When a planet is in its exalted sign, that means that it's sort of able to be exerting its force with the greatest possible power. So maybe this is a really good time to be communicating.